This typewriter is extremely simplistic, and that's a good thing. In fact, if we went by the quick start guide, in which it says press the power button, press the no keys, and then write, this would be the shortest review ever, but we're going to dive a little bit deeper into this device and what it can do. You do have a full-size keyboard here, and you have a bunch of buttons. You have folders A, B, and C, Wi-Fi on, off, and new, power button, and you have a bunch of keys. Now there's no control button because this isn't running any sort of Windows OS or anything like that. It basically just has these new buttons, but these new buttons are going to be your bread and butter. This is going to be for all your navigation, this is going to be for all your commands, and we're going to get into that soon. You do have a full-size keyboard, you have a big space bar down below, and you have an alt button here. You also have special, send, and a bunch of other keys. This is simple to the point where you just start writing and things show up on the screen. This is your screen, this is your console. Your console has a bunch of things here like the date, time, and a couple other tabs. In fact, pressing the special button allows you to cycle through the console itself. So pressing things, you'll get a stopwatch, you'll get nothing, you'll get the time and date, the amount of words, characters, reading time, a big analog clock, and then the date in a different format. And that's basically it. You just cycle through these endlessly, or you can just display nothing as one of the options. If you have something written on the screen, like my name for example, and you press new and new at the same time, it starts a new draft. Pressing new and shift allows you to cycle through the keyboard layouts, and you can actually add more keyboard layouts at their website, getfreewrite.com. New and backspace will delete the entire word itself rather than piece by piece. And if you press new and then WASD, that will allow you to navigate all on your screen. For example, you see the arrows here because there's no alt button on this side, and it doesn't really act the same way as the alt button on this device. You have to use the new plus the directional keys in order to navigate up and down, etc. It gets a little bit confusing from here because of the lack of overall UI, and it doesn't have a touch screen. We're actually having to go upwards of 3 key combinations. New plus shift plus directional buttons will go key by key, like so, rather than word by word if you were to just press new and left and right, up and down respectively. Pressing the folder buttons just cycle between the folders respectively. So for example, this is the review of the Freewrite Traveler, is my folder A. If I click B, that was what I was currently working on under B, and C will be C respectively. So it basically just has 3 working folders at any given time. If you press and hold one of the folder buttons, now we get to see some on-screen elements. You get manage drafts with special. Pressing the special button will lead you to manage a draft, and you see some keys here that will associate with what you need to do. Bookmark is B, archive is A, etc. Because there's no touchscreen again, and there's no directional buttons in the conventional sense, you will have to use keys that coordinate with what you want. For example, I press B and now I have bookmarked. So now there's some more things that come up and a new combination of keys. So there's a lot of key combinations that you have to go through. Something weird we found about this device is if you're writing something and then you press space, it makes a space. If you press space twice, it makes 2. If you press and hold the space button, it actually doesn't continuously make spaces. It actually brings up some information down below, last time it was synced, and remaining battery life. Pressing new and page down opens up the drafts down below. You can quickly access the ones that are right here. You have to then read new plus page up and new plus page down in order to navigate to the correct one you want to quick access to. The power button alone has combinations of its own. For example, pressing the power button once and again will respectively sleep and wake it up. It's the same as if you were to close it or open it up. Pressing new plus power button for 3 seconds shuts down the device entirely. Pressing the power button alone for 12 seconds force restarts the unit. Pressing the new Wi-Fi button opens up your available networks, things you can connect to, and multiple pages if you have more than 4 displayed on your screen. Also, you will have a firmware version shown up on the top right corner. This unit is fantastic. It's really small and light, but not too light that it feels cheap. It's made out of great materials, it responds well, and the e-ink screen is very crisp and clear. It sure is a breath of fresh air from those previous typewriter iterations. Although those typewriter iterations were cool and they were retro and they had a tactile feel, this is more realistically usable day to day, especially given the fact that you can take this with you anywhere you go. However, there are a couple downsides, and that is that its simplicity kinda has its shortfalls. For example, there's no navigation on the device in any way other than using assigned keys, occasionally pressing new plus directional buttons, and there's no glow light. Also, there are 17 button combinations that include 2, 3, or more buttons in order to do simple navigation on this device that results in an extreme learning curve. You'll have to really study up and get to know this device, or you'll find yourself constantly referencing the user guide and start manual in order to know how to so much as move your cursor left and right. Despite all of its shortcomings, the pros are plentiful, and we highly recommend this unit. You might see it on goodyreader.com/blog/shop in the Goody Reader store once we get any sort of distribution together. Check it out, and if you have any other questions, comments, or concerns, let us know for goodyreader.com and a full review of the Freewrite Traveler. This is Peter.